Hello. I'm back with another deck profile. This time we have Red RagnaLoardmon. So this deck has been really fun to play. It is pretty competitive. It did win a PPG, so that's something to look at. So let's get right into it. Okay, so as usual, we will start with the eggs. We are playing 3 Digimon. Probably one of the best eggs for red this format. When your opponent has 5 or more cards in their trash, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. So there's that. And the other egg that we're playing is 2 Bibidamons. Well, this Digimon has piercing, it gains 2000 DP. So this is mainly for the Durandamon going under RagnaLoardmon. He gets piercing, RagnaLoardmon becomes 16 by this alone. So it becomes really good. It helps dodge Omnimons. And yeah, it's just generally a good card. And there's a recent change that I did to the deck that also makes use of this. And I'll get to that when we get to it. Next, we'll go with the rookies. First off, we have the vanillas. We have 4 Monodramon and 2 Biyomons. Pretty standard ratio for most decks actually that would run vanilla rookies. Just 6. Even in 1.0 format, play 6. Just a good number to have. Then we have 4 Agumon. Just a general good inherit, no condition, it just gives the Digimon plus 1000 DP. So this is what you normally want to evolve into and build up a big line for RagnaLoardmon. And last we have 3 Zubamons. He is only here to search for our pieces. Dig closer to RagnaLoardmon if you miss, or get closer to the pieces, or just pick the pieces if you actually reveal it. So it just makes the deck more consistent. But we're only playing 3 because sometimes you don't really want to use the effect, because sometimes you may miss a level, and this does not help if you don't reveal that level, and you just end up putting your needed pieces to the bottom, which makes it harder for you to complete a line. So that's why it's only 3. We're playing, I believe that's 13 rookies. Just a bit of a smaller count than usual. I'll get to that in a second as well. Next for champions, we have 4 Dark Tyrannamons. Just cheap evolution. We just want to climb up to RagnaLoardmon as fast as we can, so cheap evolution is always good. Otherwise, we have first we have the blockers, only playing 3 because we have Bryludramon, which makes up for more blockers that we need. So it's okay to actually just reduce it down to 3. Then we have 2 Greymons with inherit security plus 1. You just have to play this in most red decks. Just having this security plus 1 is really good. That's what red decks usually do, being aggro. But especially for this deck in particular, Red RagnaLoardmon, most of the time you're going to have a big stack of RagnaLoardmon in your breeding area, which is going to have maybe security plus 1 inherits, and then you combine it with RagnaLoardmon's own security plus 1 and a tie. You're normally going to hit for 4 or 5 securities at a time, so it's really the aim of the deck to just one turn kill. And then one of the changes I did was change 2 of the Greymons into 2 Zuba Eagermons. Yes, this is a little bit worse than Greymon since it has the condition that has to be level 7, but I found that I did not have a level 4 for my Zubamon to add when I'm missing a level. So it's just here, so when I'm missing a level 4, I'm able to add it with a Zubamon. And also, again, I've been talking about this with my other profiles. Forecasts are good. Forecast Digimons, really helpful when they have a tamer and you are at 1. You can just hard play this so you don't waste any memory. Or when you have the tamer and they don't, you can hard play this, leave them at 1 memory. So it's pretty good. And it's in the cheap side for a champion. So that's our champion lineup. That's 11. And again, we're climbing up to Ragna. So we have our cheap level 5s and Grandramon. So we're maxing out on that. And then we have 2 Duramon. Again, just slightly more expensive than Grandramon, but it also gives you the security +1, which goes with our strategy. Most of the time you evolve this anyway, but it's not too bad to hard play because it is just 1 cost higher than the Grandramon. And then for our side boss, we have Metal Tyrannomons. So while you're trying to build up a big RagnaLoardmon in your breeding area, this can be your other threat that you give to your opponent. Just having a Metal Tyrannomon here on the field, when you hard play, let's say the Zubamon evolve into a Tyrannomon or even the Greymon. So you can have Metal Tyrannomon with security +1 just being a threat whilst you're building up Ragna. So you're giving your opponent 2 threats to deal with. It's really good. And with the Inherit Agumon and your egg, Metal Tyrannomon can actually be a 12k threat, which is pretty much a mega level threat. So that's really good. And then for the megas, we have 3 Bryludramon and 3 Durandamon. These are just the sword and the shield, I guess, for Ragna. Bryludramon is really good, just giving blocker to your Ragna, essentially giving you a 14k blocker. That's why earlier we only play 3 level 4 blockers. And then Durandamon, again with our egg, giving 2000. So if RagnaLoardmon has piercing, which is given by Durandamon, it becomes 16k. So you're not scared of any Omnimons anymore in the security when you're attacking for multiple. So yeah, only 3 and 3 to make space for 2 other megas. 2 Blitzgreymons. This is one of the changes that I mentioned earlier that makes the egg better. Blitzgreymon has piercing inherently, so that gives it 2k, making it 14k attacker Blitzgreymon if you don't have the RagnaLoardmon yet, and it did Digivolts by 2, so that's another bonus or a really good effect, especially against decks like Ceresmon, or just helps with pushing back your opponent's lines if they're also trying to build up something big. So I changed this from a Phoenixmon, so up to you if you want to have more utility. Blitzgreymon does cost 4, whereas Phoenixmon is just 2. So Phoenixmon is more turbo into Ragna, whereas this has other uses. So there's our mega lineup, and of course the namesake of the deck, for RagnaLoardmons. Yeah, it's just a really good card. Most of the time, it's pretty much a free level 7 because of its effect. When you Digivolve it and you have a Durandamon or Bryludramon in your hand, you can add it at the top of the source of this Digimon and you gain 3 memory. He is 3 to evolve, so you're basically evolving for 3 and then gaining 3, making it free evolution. So that's really good for a free level 7 with busted stats, which is it has security +1 inherently and reboots, and it's 14k. So essentially you have a 14k level 6 with security +1 and reboot, and then you get all the inherits. So the idea is to just have the RagnaLoardmon with a big stack in your breeding zone, maybe having security +3 or 4, so you can hit 4 or 5 security, and just kill in one turn. So next up we have 3 Taikamias. Just having a tamer, it's pretty good this format, especially if you have and they don't. You can keep choking them at 1 memory while you get 3 every turn. A lot of decks actually struggle to maximize that, so most of the time they will probably give you 2 or 1 and then you go to 3, essentially giving free memory. But he's really here for the additional security +1 to go with our strategy of just killing in 1 turn. So with the RagnaLoardmon, if you have RagnaLord, Tai, and just any 1 inherit, that already gives you security +3, which means you're hitting 4 securities in 1 attack. So what I like to do is in the early game, I just deal 1 damage with a rookie or anything, and from there I will just try to build up the board, the line with RagnaLoardmon in my breeding zone, and then have 1 other Digimon for the last attack. So in that turn where you want to do the 1 turn kill, you bring out the Ragna, hit for 4 if you dealt damage earlier, or 5 if you didn't, and just hit with your other Digimon and you win the game. So yeah, the Tai helps you with that because you're gonna need 1 less inherit, so you can basically play or evolve into one of your cheaper evolution lines, and it also means you don't have to search for many pieces at that time. You can just have 1 or the other, so 1 of the level 4 inherits or 1 of the level 5 inherits. So it makes it easier to get a good line in your breeding area. Then we have options. Just playing 1 Gaia Force this time, just because I don't really have space. I'll remove the other Gaia Forces for the next option, which is pretty busted. 2 Delicate Plans. What this card does is, one of your Digimon gains. This Digimon doesn't activate the security effects of any cards it checks for the turn. So what you do is you have your 5 checks or 4 checks Ragna in your breeding, and when you're ready, you bring him out, use a Delicate Plan. It's 1 cost, so you're always going to be guaranteed to be able to use this, and then you swing for however many without having to worry about any option cards like Hammer Spark, Gaia Force, Kakaido's Breath, or even Tamers for the yellow matchup. So it's really good. It's come up for me where I've checked like Gaia Force, Hammer Sparks, and Tamers, and they don't go off because of this card. So I really like it. Oh yeah, especially against new yellow-red deck that's been gaining a lot of popularity these days. That deck is essentially all about the security, so if you turn off their security effects, it's basically a good game from there. So yeah, there we have our Red RagnaLoardmon deck. If you have any questions, comment down below and let me know what deck you like to see in my next videos, and we'll see you next time.
I could always be the one you wanna call when it's cold outside. I will always be the one that's right here.